As the Delta variant continues to spread in southwest Missouri, health officials continue to see new positive cases, but also an increase in vaccinations. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
And authorities filed charges against the suspect in a fatal Joplin crash.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Area vaccinations against COVID-19 see an increase after months of low numbers. This is KOAM News at 6. In Missouri, there have been more than 500,000 positive COVID cases with nearly 10,000 deaths. And more than 4,500 new cases have been confirmed in the last week. KOAM's Zach Dodge has how this area is faring and how vaccinations are increasing as the state nears 5 million administered doses.
46 patients, with 3 on the ventilator, received treatment at Freeman Hospital because of COVID-19.
We are definitely feeling that more robust, more contagious strain.
They're seeing a younger population, with some stays lasting as long as 2 weeks or even longer. The Delta variant of the coronavirus being blamed for causing 150 new cases in the last 7 days as of the 3rd in Joplin. Freeman has gone from doing 100 tests a week to 50 just on Tuesday.
It's still here, and for us to continue to pretend that it's not, we're not really doing ourselves any favors.
An hour away in Barton County, an uptick is also hitting the rural area. 15 new cases were confirmed from June 27th through July 3rd, putting the official total to over 1,000 in the community of 11,000, while the health department director estimates the total to actually be higher.
It'll be old times, unfortunately, just like old times.
But as cases have increased, so has the vaccination rate. In the last 7 days, 97 doses have been administered in Barton County. That number was only 65 at the end of June.
It could be higher, sure. I think we all could say, you could have it be higher, but I think we do have a little bit better position going into this than what we did before.
And in Joplin, 926 doses were administered in the last week, compared to 944 at the end of June. And over the weekend, Freeman saw a 20% increase in demand for their upcoming vaccine clinic. And hospital officials hope that that's a trend that will continue.
I think ideally it would be great if, everyone chose to receive the vaccine, but I think in smaller terms, one person being vaccinated is better than no one being vaccinated. So one person at a time, that's how we can conquer the pandemic.
In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Freeman also says they've seen an increase in parents setting up vaccine appointments for their kids who are 12 and older. Joplin City Council is meeting right now with a couple of big items on the agenda. KOAM's Chris Warner is live at City Hall with more.
Well, tonight's meeting does have a number of items on the agenda, but a couple of the bigger ones are the $8.6 million contract for the widening of 32nd Street and $180,000 of funding for the health department to help fight COVID-19. Now, the funding for the health department is being provided by the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. It provides just over $180,000 in funding over the next 3 years to assist in planning and implementing COVID-19 and other adult vaccinations. Now, on first reading tonight is the $8.6 million contract for widening 32nd Street from Schifferdecker to Central City Road. Now, this project was approved by voters in August of 2014 as part of the renewal of the Capital Improvement Sales Tax program for an additional 10 years. Now, again, this contract is just on first reading, so it'll have to come before council a second time before it's finally approved. And of course, we'll have more on this meeting tonight at 9 and 10. Reporting live from City Hall, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Chris, thanks. Nick Kelly joins us now with a first look at the weather. Nick.
Thank you, Dal. It has been another warm day across the area, but thankfully away from the 90s across much of the area, so not really a hot day by any stretch. It is a bit humid, though, but that humidity hasn't resulted in much more than maybe some passing cloud cover throughout the course of the day. That's what we're still seeing at 7th and Rangeline and all across the area right now. While any thunderstorms immediately out in western Kansas, I don't think those have a good chance of making it here tonight. But the frontal system spawning severe weather from Minneapolis and those storms back in western Kansas, that is going to start to bring some rain chances our way tomorrow afternoon. In the meantime, though, we're dry to start the evening out, but everyone's at least in the mid-80s at the top of the 6 o'clock hour. The little bit of humidity makes it feel like we're in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. And if we look at our evening planner, we'll continue to stay warm for much of this evening up until about 10 o'clock where we go to 76. 72 by noon. I think most of us drop back into the upper 60s for a mild Wednesday ahead of us. We'll break down our rain chances and the rest of the week here in a bit, though.
See you then. Authorities today formally charged a man in connection with a fatal crash that happened during a police chase in Joplin on Saturday. Charges against 36-year-old Kenton Cowgill of Carthage include DWI, death of another, resisting arrest, and drug crimes. When Joplin police investigated a report of a car blocking a driveway on Rex Avenue Saturday, they say Cowgill was inside unconscious. When they woke him, they say he appeared to be intoxicated and drove away. Police chased him until Cowgill was involved in a crash with two other vehicles at the intersection of 7th and Duquesne Road. The driver of one of those other vehicles, 66-year-old Robert McDermott of Joplin, later died. Police say Cowgill tried to flee from the scene of the crash and get rid of 97 grams of meth under his car. Joplin police today released information about an arrest in a weekend stabbing. It happened Saturday afternoon at Ewart Park. Police say the victim had multiple stab wounds. The suspect was arrested a short time later around 5th and Kentucky. No official charges have been filed. Police say a man yesterday robbed a Joplin gas station with a machete. Happened at the Fast Trip on East 32nd Street. Police say the man pointed the machete at the clerk and demanded cash. After taking an undisclosed amount of money, they say he ran from the store. A suspect was later arrested, but again, no official charges have been filed. The best quarterback in the NFL has tapped one of the best high school coaches in the country to help grow the game. The Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes is teaming with USA Football to host a series of youth football coaching clinics across the region. And a familiar face will help lead the clinics, including one locally. It's Webb City coach John Roderick. Roderick will be a part of all three coaching clinics, including one hosted in Webb City. If you want to register for one of the clinics, you can find a link to do so in this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. We spoke with Coach Roderick today, and he had nothing but praise for the Chiefs QB.
Here's a guy that is as good as there is in the world, in football, and he's equally a great person as he is a great football player. If you watch him, I think everything you see about him is probably very genuine. You couldn't have a better person, out in front of, a clinic like this that's promoting youth football and the positive things that come from it.
The two other clinics will be in Olathe, Kansas, and in Kansas City, Missouri. The virtual world of sports is coming to NEO's athletic lineup. The college announced today that it's adding an e-sports team. The team had operated as a club and grew to 25 members over the past year. To celebrate the team's launch, the school announced its first ever e-sports student athlete commitment, Carson Bauer from Gentry, Arkansas.
As soon as we started talking about developing a team, that is when Buffalo Run Casino and Resort approached us about putting in an esports lab as well, which will be the home of the Norseman esports team.
NEO's esports matches can be viewed on Twitch. Still ahead, the heat is back, but Miami residents can once again escape it with a trip to the pool. We're going to tell you about the repairs that kept it closed this far into the season. And local high schoolers head to PSU on a quest for clean energy. The Miami, Oklahoma Municipal Pool opened today for the first time this season. The pool had been closed because the city needed to put a new liner in it and they didn't have enough employees to run it. Well, that's all taken care of now, so people are able to enjoy the water.
I'm just glad to see they got it going, got it open, and got all the repairs done, the liner fixed and everything, and now it's going to be summer. Summer's officially here.
The pool is open on Tuesdays through Thursdays from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Route 66 Miami Splash Pad is open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Some local high schoolers are on a quest for clean energy. The quest is taking place at the Polymer Research Center at PSU. The high schoolers, working alongside PSU students, are synthesizing a new material printed by 3D printers to be used in supercapacitors, batteries, and fuel cells.
Our intention is that students' work can get published in international peer-reviewed journal articles, and our intention also to present these work in national and regional conferences such as American Chemical Society conferences.
The fuel cells this year students are researching can be used in electric cars. Later, a Kansas City boy won his battle with cancer and is now giving back to help others in their fight.
Plus, we'll stay warm for the next couple days while we keep an eye on increasing rain chances. The forecast up next. We kept things quiet once again for our Tuesday while Mother Nature kept us warm as well. As we continue on throughout this work week, the temperatures over the past 36 hours showed Joplin Regional hitting a high of 88 degrees, even though the highest observed temperature we have in the graphic here shows it at 86 yesterday at 5 o'clock. We dropped back into the upper 60s this morning, and then another jump into the upper 80s for this afternoon. This is a trend that will continue for the next couple days or so, even with some rain chances. You're going to work back in pretty soon. In the meantime, warm and humid air hasn't resulted in anything more than maybe a little bit of passing cloud cover, but we're looking good. From 7th and Rangeline, 86 in Joplin, feels like 87 though, with the dew point sitting at 63 degrees. Everybody's warm at the 6 o'clock hour on this Tuesday evening. Mid 80s on the Missouri side, still some mid to upper 80s though in our corners of Kansas and Missouri. Even though the dew points haven't been too terribly high, we do have much of the area with dew points sitting in the mid 60s. That is enough soupy air in place, or rather sticky air. We don't want soupy. We don't want dew points back in the mid 70s, but even in the mid 60s. It does make it feel like we're at 89 in Pittsburgh, 90 in Chanute, upper 80s in northeast Oklahoma, and anywhere from 85 to 90 across southwestern Missouri. We will start to cool down though once we get past sunset. We'll be at 82 by 8 o'clock, but then dropping to 72 by midnight. I'm thinking upper 60s for overnight lows, so it will turn mild as we get your Wednesday morning underway. Around here, we didn't have much to track for today, although I am keeping an eye on thunderstorms out in northwestern parts of Kansas. I don't think those play a role in the forecast. Neither will Tropical Storm Elsa, but this is pretty much the big weather story across the entire lower 48. In fact, we have much of the Florida coast underneath tropical storm warnings, but as this is expected to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane briefly by tomorrow morning, you see parts of the coast under a red. That's a hurricane warning from St. Pete almost out to about Apalachicola near Florida. But as soon as Elsa makes landfall, it'll slowly start to weaken as it works through the peninsula and eventually into the Carolinas. But even as it weakens, this is going to produce quite a bit of heavy rainfall. Can't rule out some tornadoes, especially on the northeastern side of Elsa with those rain bands rotating on through. For us, though, we'll focus on this next front to the north and west because this upper low is starting to push that front our way. And that's what's going to drive our rain chances up for the next day or so. For this evening, though, again, I'm thinking any of the storms from western Kansas today, I don't think they have a shot of making it here. So we'll be dry to start Wednesday morning out, mild too. But as that front edge is closer with a little more heat, a little more humidity, we will see that result in some scattered storms tomorrow afternoon. Not expecting anything too terribly strong or severe, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have some heavy rainfall with some of these storms. 69 in the morning, 86 by noon, afternoon highs right around 90 degrees. We'll calm things down once we get to sunset tomorrow night. And I think overall Thursday we're mainly dry. I can't rule out an isolated storm, but we are going to keep temperatures fairly warm around 87 for Thursday. I'm thinking Friday's dry, but a little bit hot with highs back near 90. Then the front actually comes back with a bigger upper level wave. That'll drop us to 88 Saturday and 82 on Sunday. So a little cool down as we head toward early next week as some of those rain chances try to return as well now.
A bit of cooler weather will be nice.
Certainly will.
It's brief. Thanks, Nick. Still ahead, Frito-Lay employees in Topeka, Kansas are on strike. We're going to tell you what pushed them out the door and onto the picket line. Union workers for Topeka's Frito-Lay plant are on strike. Reporter Kimberly Donahue has more.
Members of Frito-Lay's Bakers Union headed to the picket line Monday for day one of their strike.
Frito-Lay needs to wake up.
Sherry Renfro joined the line after working 73 hours during a push week, a term used to describe the time before a major holiday when the company sells a lot of product. She says those are times when her safety is most at risk.
Our aisles get blocked. We have no exits. Literally, you're going to push carts out of the way if you want to get through to get to the exit if there's ever a fire. We pointed out to them before, and they said, well, it's push week. And that's frustrating because it's our safety. It's my life on the line. If there's ever a fire in that place, it's going to go because of all the chips and the cardboard we have.
Renfro says the pay used to make the job worthwhile, even inspiring her daughter to work at the company. They say that's no longer the case.
It balanced out the stress of the unpredictable hours we have, but as the years go on, no raises, lump sums instead, which are nothing.
The attitude towards us is very, like, we're not worth anything. And so then people start to feel that, and that's how they feel about themselves and how they feel about the job, and it's hard to stay in that mentality.
Over the weekend, union members rejected the latest tentative agreement. The 2-year deal included wage increases, and negotiators felt it addressed forced overtime. Frito-Lay reiterated its statement from Sunday, saying in part, quote, that the union membership rejected this fully recommended agreement suggests union leadership is out of touch with the sentiments of Frito-Lay employees. A union leader thought otherwise.
They've been out of touch with these employees for the last 10 to 12 years. If they want to try to insinuate that the union's out of touch with them, they need to take a look at themselves in the mirror. The money's there. This is PepsiCo. This is Frito-Lay. The money's there.
Members of the union say they plan to stay as long as there's a strike. Last report, there had been no invitation from either party to return to the negotiating table. Final check on the weather is next. Take time now to honor a local veteran, Private Chester Bishop. The Iola, Kansas native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Private Chester Bishop, tonight's four-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to learn about that proposed $8 million project to widen 32nd Street in Joplin. Also, we'll hear about a new report alleging China is on a mission to take over key positions and cover up the origins of COVID-19. And we're going to check out the world's tallest sandcastle. Stay with us for KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Hope you'll join us. A 7-year-old Kansas City area boy has just won the fight against cancer, and now he's doing all he can to help others. Alan Shope shows us what he's doing to make a difference.
7-year-old Trip Hughes got to ring the fire truck bell on Sunday, but not because there was a fire, but something just as important, his last chemo treatment pill.
It's just been a roller coaster.
Boy, no kidding, Trip has been fighting cancer since he was just 4 years old, but this little guy won, and Sunday was the celebration.
It just feels amazing.
Add to that a recent birthday, and Trip had an idea: collect toys and cash for the hospital that helped him.
They're running low on toys because they let kids take some of the toys home with them, so we just want to help.
All of our friends and family have been asking what they can get him to celebrate. So from there, it just kind of tumbled into what can we do to help give back.
To this point, Trip and his friends have been able to donate more than 2,500 toys to Children's Mercy Hospital and more than $6,000.
Every time that we go there, they're willing to give anything and everything that we need for a trip.
I just hope this inspires other kids to also do other helpful things.
Way to go, Trip. Boy, he expresses himself very well, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Good for Trip, good for the recipients of those toys. The weather looking okay at the moment.
Yeah, we'll keep things quiet and a bit warm this evening, but again, dry for any outdoor plans. However, tomorrow afternoon, that's when we'll have some scattered storms try to return. Otherwise, hot tomorrow with highs near 90, 87 Thursday, 90 again on Friday, then better rain chances back in on Saturday.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.